Hello, everyone. Friendly little alien in your phone here, or a computer, or TV, whatever you're listening to me on. I live in Oklahoma, and let me tell you, it has been hot here. Like, hot and dry. Genuinely, like, why has it been in the hundreds with the real feel like 110 to 115 consistently for the last 3 weeks? Climate change. I feel like since I moved here in 2023, I've noticed a little bit of a pattern. As soon as it hits August every year, it gets so dry that I don't even have to mow my lawn until the rainy season begins again in late spring. I mean, like, I literally can't. It just shrivels up and turns yellow and stabby. Same thing with, like, the leaves on the trees. They kind of shrivel up and turn brown and yellow and almost die of dehydration every year. Rather than the change in temperature, you know? I was born and raised in New England. I'm a Mainer, as they would call it, from Manger. Uh, I'm used to trees everywhere, literally everywhere. And during late August and September, as the weather gets cooler and we transition into fall, we would get a massive influx of leaf peepers. And I won't lie, it was beautiful. The yellows and the reds and oranges and peaches and peppered with green evergreen trees everywhere. The maple trees with the little helicopters. One thing I will say I don't miss is the snow and the cold for like 8 months a year, but I do miss the trees. I miss having easy access to nature. I do not live in a city out here in Oklahoma. I actually live in quite a small town, yet somehow there's almost no trees. Like, it is low-key a little bit depressing. Like, beggars can't be choosers. Like, I know I wanted somewhere that didn't get 300 feet of snow a year, but where are all the trees? How are we getting our oxygen? So, why in the world would I ever move from Maine to Oklahoma? Well, first of all, the snow. Second of all, I don't know. People ask me this all the time. They say, "Where are you from?" And they're expecting, "Oh, I'm from this town or from this town, or maybe I'm from Arkansas 40 minutes away." No, I'm a 30-hour drive up the road, just casual 1,000+ miles. I'm from Maine. um, and I'll be so for real. I did not do my research, like, not to the extent I should have before I moved. I kind of just did it. So, my husband and I were trying to buy a house. And those things are expensive, if you didn't know that. Our loan type was really strict. So it was a USDA loan, a rural developmental loan. We were looking in Texas because we wanted it to be warm and we wanted to be on the coast. We did not want to move to Florida cuz I mean, I'm not even going to go into that. So we just kind of chose the first house that we found that was nearest to what we wanted, which ended up being in Oklahoma, which really sucks because it's not really close to the water. And this decision bit us in the ass. I'm gonna be so for real. It bit us in the ass. And I'm gonna talk about a bunch of crap, and you guys can laugh. You can laugh at me. It's fine. I mean, we've mostly figured it out now. Like, there's still things here or there that's still a little bit of an issue, but it's okay enough now. So, we have a rural developmental loan, aka USDA loan, and every single realtor that we talked to, because we were looking in more than one state, so but had to get multiple realtors. They were quite clear that the fact that the house had to be livable, it had to be move-in ready, and it had to be in perfect tip-top shape. Many, many, many houses that we were interested in and that seemed quite nice were deemed not good enough for us to purchase by the powers that be. Who decides this? Well, I don't know. I'm talking, they told us that there's not even allowed to be a piece of chipped paint or a slightly cracked window, or we couldn't even consider buying that home. But the house that we did end up buying, they said, yep, this is perfect. This house passes with flying colors. Well, as it goes, closing took forever. When we were moving from across the country, completely starting fresh, our car broke down in the beginning of the trip. We ended up stuck in New Hampshire for about 2 weeks trying to get our ducks in a row. Thankfully, we had family that let us stay with them. Once we were able to sell the car that broke down because it had transmission issues, and we were not going to be able to pay to fix that when we're trying to buy a house. Like, if you know anything about cars, that is probably one of the most expensive fixes. Just to pull the transmission out of the car was $1,000 instantly. And that's not even taking the transmission apart to diagnose the issue, and then fixing the issue, and then putting the transmission back in the car. So, yeah. So we ended up getting a U-Haul and continued on our merry way. This should have been sign number 1 that the universe did not want us to go through with this decision. But we were excited. We were buying a new house. We were starting our life together. And then closing on the house was extended by a few days. No big deal. We can get a hotel for a few days and get them the papers they need. So we did that. Cool. Let's close. Let's move in. And we're delayed again. And again, and again, and again. Oh my god, it's been nearly 2 months. To be so for real, we should probably have just went back home. But we were out of money, and we didn't have a home to go back to. I mean, we have our parents, but we're grown individuals. We have our own pets. Like, we just didn't want to move back in with our parents, and that didn't really seem like a feasible option for us either. So, anyways, now that we're down a car, in the negative monetarily, because I went from making $19 an hour in Maine to $11 an hour only working part-time. And we're buying a house, and we don't have a car, and we've had to stay in a hotel for 2 months, which is really, really expensive, especially when you have animals staying with you. So, side note, the next red flag should have been that, although we were only a town away, not once did they actually let us even, like, look or go inside the house, until we closed, and they gave us the keys. We were oblivious. A little bit stupid, I know, trust me, this is why I said you can laugh. So, eventually, we do actually finally sign on the house. We get the keys. And the first few problems are immediate. It wasn't something insidious that I didn't find out for months, which did also happen. Sorry, I kind of whipped at the camera there. I'm really passionate about this topic because it has affected my life for a long time in a lot of big ways. But the problems immediate. Our dishwasher's gone. There's roaches. And at this point, we've already signed the papers. The title's in our name. The mortgage has gone through. The money's gone. We are legally responsible for this place. So we message our realtor and we're like, hey, where's our dishwasher? And he's like, oh yeah, apparently one of the construction crew people stole it, so we fired him. And I was like, okay, please give us a dishwasher, because this was one of the things listed that we would get. So they did. They bought us a dishwasher. Probably one of the cheapest ones I could find. But a dishwasher is a dishwasher, I guess. The house also didn't come with a fridge or a washer or a dryer. And I will say we knew about these things at the time. But thinking back, like, if a house is supposed to be move-in ready, like, how do you expect somebody to live without a fridge? So we bought a mini fridge because we had no money, and we're actually in a lot of debt at this point. So we're like, man, I'm just hungry, and then I want to go to bed. Let's just make dinner and go to sleep. Except we can't. The stove doesn't work. So, I guess we're eating Lunchables tonight. This has been an awful month. I'm just gonna go brush my teeth, go use the toilet, and we can go to bed. So, I walk to the bathroom. We flush the toilet. Why does it smell like poop in here? Oh my god, the tub and toilet are flooding dirty poo-poo water everywhere. So anyways, we were not able to use our plumbing for like 2 months after we moved in, because we had no money. Plumbers are expensive. So the problems were multiple and they were stacking on top of each other. Most of the problems we ended up having to fix ourselves. After calling a plumber and them charging us $200 just to stick a camera down our sewer main and fish out a clump of wet wipes the size of my head, we still couldn't use our plumbing. They said, well, honestly, we probably have to dig up your sewer main because for some reason I can't advance my scope at all past this point where the wad of wipes was, but I can't tell you what's going on in there. This will probably be a few $1,000s. So at this point, I just kind of want to flee into the woods, go feral like a wild animal, and just live there because I cannot handle this. Like, to be so for real, my mental health like severely declined around this point in my life. Just it was rough. So we decided, screw it, we're gonna do it ourselves. We spend hours in the blazing heat of the Oklahoma summer digging approximately a 6 foot by 3 foot by 4 foot hole in the ground just looking for this sewer main. When we find it, like, my jaw was seriously on the floor. Like, listen, I'm not a plumber, but even I could tell you that whoever did the plumbing or fixed the sewer main just might not have known what they were doing. The pipe that connected my house and the town sewer pipe was connected with just a rubber coupler. That's it. And if you don't know what a rubber coupler is, well, a coupler is a piece that it connects two pipes. You kind of put it like around or over both ends of the pipes and then you tighten it and it connects those two pipes so that there can be passage of the pipe's contents. And they used a fully rubber one. There are like PVC, metal, rubber, and metal. Like, they have different types. And this one was not the appropriate type for the ground. Because the ground is, you think of it as a fairly solid thing, but it's not stationary. Weather and temperature cause the ground to shift, expand, shrink. That's why foundations crack. Sometimes your doors don't fit quite right, depending on the time of year. Like, roads get the cracks and the bumps. Like, frost heaves, for example, is a real bad problem in Maine. We used to have a frost heave on our road so bad, you would think it was a speed bump that the town put in. Nope. It's just where the ground swells every year. Town would fix it, and it'd come right back again in the winter. But, so yeah, the rubber coupling did not keep this pipe in place. So the town's sewer pipe was at a pretty good, like, horizontal level, and the pipe coming from my house was facing down at like a 20 or 30 degree angle. So the two pipes were not meeting at all, and every time we flushed the toilet or took a shower, the poo-poo water was just running into the dirt. Like, it had nowhere to go. It wasn't draining. Um, so yeah, the dirt was nasty and saturated in poo-poo water. So we had to play in poo-poo water dirt too. And I say play, but I'm just trying to make a funny out of something that was not funny at the time. Like I said, I'll say it for a third and final time. You can laugh. It's fine. So yeah, we had to work and poop and get heat stroke to fix this mistake so that we could use the toilet. Shout out to our friend Tyler, who barely knew us at this time. But he helped us with this because I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not a plumber. My husband's not a plumber. Um, so I knew nothing about this. So when we when we fixed it, we put a brick under the pipe to prop it up, broke a shovel in the process because, mind you, this pipe is connected to my house, underneath my house. And to try to get it at a different angle without excavating my entire house in the ground was like a Herculean task. Like, we broke the head off of a shovel. So we put a brick under the pipe to try and hold it up, and under the coupler as well, because we didn't want this to happen again. And we used a metal reinforced coupler, like not just rubber. So knock on wood that this stays. It's been good for about 3 years now, but I never want to have to do that again ever or pay for it, because it's either plain poop or pay $3,000 pretty much is your options, and both are really, really awful options. Like, I understand why we pay the plumbers that much to fix it, but good grief, dude. So anyways, we have our plumbing back. We can live a semi-normal life now. Except for I go to step inside and I step into a massive puddle in what would be my laundry room if I had a washer and a dryer. So, yeah, my hot water heater is leaking everywhere. So, outside, I put a coupler on a pipe. But I know literally nothing about electricity and gas and water, and I just know that those things should not be combined. So we have to call a plumber for this, because we have gas-powered amenities, like including our stove, which is also why I didn't want to fix my stove ourselves. So, because I don't want to electrocute myself or like gas my house out if I accidentally do something wrong. Ka-ching! $1.5 grand more in the hole. So the plumber that came in said that the setup for our hot water tank was appalling, and most of the ways that it was set up was quote unquote highly illegal. Now, I don't know what he means by this, because I, again, know almost like next to nothing about plumbing, but this come from the words of a professional. So, lovely. This is lovely. Now we have water damage that we have to deal with. So I have to rip up the flooring in the water heater closet, as well as some of the drywall, like a couple inches up the wall, because it's all water damage. And I am distraught. You want to know the grand total here? $15,000. And my husband and I are hardly making any money. And our puppy gets incredibly sick, and we have to put him down after several vet visits and emergency vet visits. So, hard right turn, or left turn, whatever you call it. But I want to transition to talking about the culture that the southern states seem to have regarding their animals, like especially dogs. So, Luther, I rescued him from a very unideal scenario, which probably plays a factor into how and why he was so incredibly sick. I was at somebody's house that I went to a lot, and her neighbor's Great Pyrenees would always come up to the front door, and she would feed these dogs. On my way to her house once, I seen these dogs running around and about freely, like in the road, in other people's yards. So the persons whose house I was at actually knew who owned these dogs and said, "Well, hey, like, They had puppies and they don't know what to do with them. And I am a bleeding heart when it comes to animals. Like, I need to learn how to say no. Doing better. Still haven't fully gotten there. But they didn't know the ages of these puppies, if they were fully Great Pyrenees or if they were part German Shepherd, because they also kept German Shepherds, but they kept them tied up out back. They didn't have any type of medical care, and everyone was just allowed to roam freely off the property, except for the shepherds were tied up out back. And if you know, like, the bare basic facts about dogs, like, this is a recipe for disaster. Like, usually vets don't even recommend letting your dog's feet touch the ground. Let me reiterate. Don't even recommend letting your puppy's feet touch the ground outside until they're fully vaccinated. And like, take off your shoes before you come inside the house. Mop your house often, because parvo and distemper are wildly contagious and extremely dangerous for puppies. So, with that being said, some of you are probably listening to this and thinking, like, that's sad, because that is how I feel as well. A lot of people I've noticed here in Oklahoma treat their dogs in this way, where they always have them outside. They're always tied up. I mean, like, I cannot walk my dog down the road without running into, at the very least, one dog that is outside 24/7. And usually they're reactive and barking, and it's 110 degrees, and their fluffy dog is still outside. So, I don't know. It's And I can't even begin to wrap my head around it. Like, I'm not trying to pass judgment, but I I don't understand it. So let me get back on script here so that I can try to articulate myself in the best way that I can think to. So and I want to include that I understand there are some factors included, like monetary considerations. Like, some people might not be able to afford the very best thing for their animals at the moment. Like, situations change. Maybe you adopted your dog when you were living it big. Maybe you had a job that you've just now lost, or you had an emergency and now you have to feed your dog rice and chicken for a few days until you get paid, or you have to put off your dog's heartworm medicine for a couple of weeks because it's like $100 a month, and I need to make sure that I'm eating food. Like, I get that, it happens, but personally, I feel like it's irresponsible to treat animals like they're disposable items instead of living, feeling beings that have basic needs to live happily, like shelter, food, water. And mentally, most dogs need companionship, stimulation, exercise, and safety, as well as medical care so that they're less likely to catch severe, life threatening, and preventable illnesses. Like, I understand some things don't go right in life for us, but like, I've increasingly noticed an overwhelming amount of people acquiring animals that they cannot support at the time of the acquisition. Like, you can't get it healthcare or feed it or keep it in your home, not including livestock guardian dogs that actively have a job that requires living outside. Yet you get the animal anyways. And this seems to be more of a cultural phenomenon in my current and surrounding areas. And I've talked to people about this, and like, from the mouth of the people that do these type of things, they are under the belief that dogs belong outside, that dogs are outside animals. And I just personally don't believe this. I don't even think cats are outside animals, and that's a whole. I don't even know if that's a whole different can of worms. I don't even think it is, because cats are inside animals. They're invasive, and it's bad for your cat. And I know there's someone gonna be in the comments saying, "My cat lived 20 years, and it was an outside cat," and da 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 da. Okay, think of it this way: how many diseases are you letting your cat exposed to when they are outside cats? How much injury are you exposing your cats to if they are outside cats? Because cats are really territorial, and most likely they're going to get in fights with other cats. This means that there's going to be a higher risk for infection and further injury. Natural predators are going to try and eat your cats, and your cats are unnatural predators of animals that live in that environment, like the birds. Oh, cats hunt birds, that's just what they do. I mean, it's part of their biology. They have a hunting instinct, yes, but they are invasive. They did not start here. Wherever you are, the cat species probably did not start there. And they have decimated bird populations. And, like, it's just so incredibly dangerous. Like, they get hit by cars, they get eaten, they get purposefully injured by people, because some people are cruel and they hate cats. And they will purposefully kill your cat. They will purposefully swerve on the road to hit your cat. They will. Anyways, none of this was in my script. I just wanted to put that out there. Keep your cats inside, please. And let me move on to the next part of my script. So, I never seen a stray dog in my life ever before I moved to the South. And I now see several a week. And I've learned that it's fairly common for people to let their dogs roam. Not get them health care, not get them fixed, not get them chipped. And a significant population of people just end up dumping their dogs. Like, there is so many moving components here, but many of these problems just compound on top of each other and has led to a huge problem within the rescue community around here. Like, our rescues have to send dogs up north because there's not enough space, there's not enough money, and there's not enough people to take care of all of the animals. So they send them up north, or they get over inundated, or they have to put them down. It's a rock in a hard place, or a rock in a hard place and a stabby place. Like, either the rescue or shelter gets to capacity and says, no, I cannot take any more animals. And it means that they might be working within their means, but there are still so many stray dogs or dumped dogs that have nowhere to go, and people in tough situations don't have many options in the way of responsibly rehoming their animals. On the flip side, the shelter can say, yes, we are at capacity, but we will take your dog anyways. And then the shelter then struggles to pay for their dogs, for the shelter maintenance, the health, food, space, and this sets a precedent, and not a good one. So I have worked with a good handful of shelters and rescues in this area. Most of my animals are from shelters or rescues or rehoming situations. Literally, my only animal that I've ever bought is my leopard gecko, Mooney. So if you're looking back at my YouTube videos and you see adopt, don't shop, a PSA. First of all, wrote that when I was like 16. I still agree with some of the points, like I discussed not shopping for animals, and by that I mean going to pet stores and buying animals outright like that, because sometimes they'll be ethical, but how do you know if they are? Have you done your research? If you're going to PetSmart or Petco or most of the other pets, those animals were likely not produced ethically. So, and most of the times they're not being held in ethical homes either. Like, if you think of the leopard geckos when you go to Petco or PetSense, or I don't think PetSense has, no, PetSense does have leopard geckos. Anyways, so they're being housed with many other leopard geckos. And leopard geckos are solitary creatures, like not in the way that they don't want to cuddle, like they're just aloof, in the way that they will literally kill other leopard geckos in their enclosure. Like, it's that bad. Same thing with bearded dragons and most other lizards. There are a small handful of lizards that can live together. Um, a lot of them can't. And most of the common ones that you'll see at a pet store cannot live together. Bearded dragons cannot live together. But you'll see those beardies at the pet stores and they'll be little babies and you'll think, "Oh, they're cuddling. There's a little baby bearded dragon on top of another one and another one is pushed up against the other one. They're cuddling." They are not cuddling. They are fighting for resources and showing dominance and aggression. So when a bearded dragon gets on top of another bearded dragon, it's saying, "I'm the leader. I'm the boss. I'm the one that's getting the ray lights that we need. I'm getting the food. You're getting nothing." And once they get big enough, they will actually start like biting each other and nipping at each other. Like the only time that you can cohabitate these two is for ethical breeding. And even then you're not cohabitating them, you're just letting them mingle to breed and then you're moving them. Like they shouldn't even be allowed to see each other. When my bearded dragon is able to see my leopard gecko cuz they're in the same room, but in different cages obviously, he aggressively bobs his head up and down and his beard turns black. And you would think it's cute, but that's aggression. Like, that's an aggressive, and it's stressful for them. So, yeah. Anyways, some of these shelters. Okay, wait, what was I talking about? I was talking about the adopt on shop. Okay, so anyways, I understand shopping if you are buying from an ethical breeder that you've done their research on, like they're registered, their dogs are registered with the AKC or whatever the other one is, and they've been health tested. You've met the dogs, you've met the parents. They have a good temperament, like you've seen the house that the dogs have grown up in and it's fantastic. Like that is okay if you're buying like that. But shopping like at a pet store, not so much. And adopting is good as well, but I'll get into the sticky of adopting in a minute here. But I will also say that be careful with shopping for dogs because, and I was just having a conversation with this in class the other day with my peers, and I was trying not to be mean. Like I'm still, like I said last episode, still trying to be assertive without seeming like a know-it-all or like rude, but do not support the breeders of mutts. Like Doodles is one of the biggest ones right now. So when you want a dog, I just explained all the qualities that you want in your dog breeder cuz you want a dog that is going to be predictable. Like if you're shopping for a dog and you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a dog because Doodles are not cheap. Usually if you're buying a dog from somebody, it's going to be expensive. So you're spending thousands of dollars for a dog that is not registered. They might have papers, they might have some sort of health testing or being registered from some random certification site. Like, for example, you can get a quote unquote certification for your service dog, but that doesn't mean that it's real. I mean, you can go online and get a certificate for it, but that doesn't mean that it's gone through the training. Like, for real service dogs, there is no certificate. The certificate is how they act, their obedience, and their tasks for their handler. So when you get these quote-unquote papers for your mixed breed dog or your mutt, it means almost nothing. It does not mean that it is a true recognized dog breed, and you don't know what you're going to get. So anyways, some of these shelters have been good that I've worked with. Some have been subpar, but okay, like it's all right. And there's ones that I've worked with that I have no intention to ever work with in the future. They're one of those rescues that say yes, no matter how full they are. So, oh, excuse me, I burped. So this rescue was foster-based, meaning most of the animals in their legal care were taken care of in foster homes. But these foster homes are plumb full about 99.99% of the time. So if you have a dog that is absolutely not safe for your household, what do you do when there's nowhere for this dog to go? And this is what happened to me. I was fostering a very hefty bully mix who was very, very sweet to people. But he had some issues. The biggest one being that he hated cats. I have 5 cats. Before I accepted fostering him, I was told, yeah, he's great with cats, other dogs, people, everything. He hated my cats. He growled, he snipped, he chased. Even when the door to my bedroom was closed and the cats were in there and he was on the other side, he would attack my door and try to get through it. He was not cat safe at all. And I told the rescue this, I can't even count how many times. And they just kept saying, we'll get on it, we'll find him another home. And I have this dog for 3 months. 3 months go by dealing with this incredibly dangerous and stressful situation, and nobody will take this dog from me. I'm getting desperate, I'm making flyers, I'm posting posts. I'm trying to get somebody interested in adopting this dog or something, literally anything. Because the rescue stopped responding to me, they stopped texting me back. And I am getting mad. What am I possibly supposed to do about this dog that literally wants to eat my cats? All the while, the rescue page is posting about new intakes, new puppies. You see the problem here, right? It's right in my face. It's right in the post. Now, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but I told the rescue, listen, I've had this dog for months, and I've told you since the first week that the dog was aggressive towards my cats, and I cannot have it in my home. He's a good dog with humans. He would be a wonderful dog in an only dog, only animal home without small children, but that is not my home. I have another dog, and I have 5 cats. He wants to kill my cats. I have literally bottle fed some of my cats from infancy, they're my babies. They're my main priority in this situation. They're scared, I'm scared, and the dog is probably stressed too because his hunting instincts are going crazy 24/7. So I gave him an ultimatum. I said, take this dog by the end of the week or I'm going to have to bring it to the pound because you've given me literally no other options. You're not even texting me back anymore. And I'm not going to risk injury to my other pets for literally a day longer. And it's not like I can just drive this dog up to home base, the shelter, because there is no home based. It's just other foster homes with the dogs. So there's literally there's nothing I can do here. I'm stuck with the dog unless I just release it too, which I would never do. So I don't know if this is right, but what else could I have done? Genuinely. Because they stopped ignoring me once I texted them this and told me they would come pick him up the next day. Great, thanks. Not like I've been asking for months. Come to find out, the previous foster had moved him out of their home for the same reason as me. He was aggressive with the children and the other small animals in the house. So they straight up lied to my face and ignored me. Just blatantly put all of my other animals in danger because of God knows why. I don't know. So, to tie this all up, I highly recommend trying to get to know about the rescues and the communities surrounding them in your area before you agree to any commitment with a facility. I highly recommend fostering an animal. I love it. I love fostering. I've had some fantastic dogs. But think about this. Is there a plan for situations like this? Are they going to pay for food and preventatives? Are there any expectations of you? Has the rescue had any controversies in the past? Seriously, ask questions and be diligent. I think that is the overall theme of this episode. Sometimes you have to make a mistake to be able to learn, but sometimes there are other options. Like I literally just mentioned, ask questions, do your research, be diligent, learn things, expand your mind for your safety and well being and that of the creatures around you as well. This has been quite a deep dive of an episode, probably quite a controversial one, but I stand by my opinions. I hope you enjoyed listening to my take about some pretty awful things. Some of it's sad, some of it I can laugh about now, some of it has taught me some pretty crucial lessons, and I really hope it teaches you. I'm pointing at you right now. You just can't see it, my dear listener, without you having to make the same mistakes that I have. Because if you're an animal lover or a bleeding heart for animals like I am, consider the problems with animal welfare in your area and the steps you may be able to take to solve them or bring them to light or whatever you need to do to better your life and the life of the creatures around you. Like, even if you aren't a hardcore into dog ownership, just understand the basic facts. Don't jump into things head on without knowing what's going on because it will bite you in the butt. If you go buy that doodle that's not health tested and the parents don't have lineage, so you don't even know if it's a doodle. That thing could be like 6 different breeds. So you don't know what kind of dog you're actually going to get. Because the fantastic thing about knowing your dog's breed composition is you can know what traits they're predisposed to. So it is a lot of nature versus nurture. Nurture matters a lot. But when it comes to dogs, some dogs just have things like hardwired into them. Cattle dogs are gonna herd, they're gonna nip. Huskies are gonna want to run all day, every day. They're loud, they love digging, they love running, and if you're not letting them run, they're gonna get aggressive and they're gonna get anxious. Some of the bigger protection breed dogs are going to be more people aggressive and animal aggressive. If you have a hunting dog, it might not be safe around small animals because for a long, long time, these dogs have been trained to smell and sneak out and sometimes kill these small animals. So you're most likely not going to want them in your home if you have rabbits or cats or other small animals that roam around your house. Like, there is genetics matter in the situation of trying to choose a dog. Just remember that animals are living, breathing beings that deserve love and respect, and they have feelings. They can feel pain, they can feel sadness, they can feel scared and anxiety, and they can feel happy, and they can feel love, and they can feel comfortable. Remember, take care of yourself, your cats, your dogs, your lizards, your toads, your fish. That's another topic that I could go into, but this is already 35 minutes long. Or I will come float them into my spaceship with my magical extraterrestrial powers so that I can have company while I write my next episode. Thank you for listening. I don't know you, but I love you. Get some sleep and have a good week.